Bumpity bump turns to total kerplunk, and then a lot of words we can't say on television. Michigan's roads are raising blood pressure and costing a lot of money. This morning, how it got this bad and how do we smooth it over? Today is Sunday, February 25th, 2018, and this is Flashpoint.
All right, welcome to Flashpoint. Good to have you with us this Sunday morning. With the exception of a few sparkling Olympic moments, including an epic USA-Canada hockey final, it was otherwise a week of frustration. Frustrated students and parents from Parkland, Florida, arguing with frustrated Second Amendment defenders, both sides exasperated by their inability to get the other side to see what to them appears obvious. As President Trump suggested training and arming some teachers in each school, I found myself wondering, how in the world will we ever see eye to eye on this? Will the parents who would never send their kids to an armed school be able to coexist with the parents who, if given the choice, would never now send their kids to a school that wasn't? Few things enshrined in the Constitution leave Americans so bitterly divided. This morning, though, we're going to talk about another big frustration, though notably it is one that I think has us all in very hearty agreement. Driving right now in Detroit is hazardous in a mind-boggling way. Yes, we have pothole season every year, but this past week has been astonishing, watching car after car after car blowing out tires, swerving perhaps into an accident to avoid a crater, and then Thursday night, police actually having to shut down a 2-mile stretch of I-75 because the road conditions were just too hazardous. How is that possible in the automobile capital of the world, a region that has foregone mass transit because we'd rather just drive ourselves? How can we possibly have a roadway grid that looks so third world? This morning, the questions I hear from you all the time. Why isn't there a better way? What happened to the money we approved for road repair? And with the president's infrastructure plan so reliant on state money, how does Michigan recover from our sad and very dangerous current condition? It's all this morning on Flashpoint. I didn't mean to cast aspersion on the third world. I've been on some third world roads that are better than what we've been driving on lately. So let's start this morning's drive with some of the questions that vex most of us who can't understand why we're driving on surfaces that only qualify as roads in the broadest sense of the word. Beverly Watts is the Director of Public Services for Wayne County, and Craig Bryson, Senior Manager of Communications for the Road Commission of Oakland County. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, this is not easy time for either of you. You were just telling me it's even worse when you get together with your family because you're peppered with everybody's got a story right now and everybody's got questions. So let me start with this. It feels anecdotally that this is as bad as any of us can remember. We all talk about pothole season, but is it worse?
It's worse. It's worse and really problematic when you look at this is really a combination of what we have not invested in our road system in the past. And what you're seeing now is roads that really need to have repair. We've had Band-Aids on them for so many years. So when you get together and you have a winter season like we've had, a real freeze-thaw season, it just makes that Band-Aid, the thousands you have on there, pop up. And this is the result of what you see. To me, this is about as worse as it can get. I have employees who've been working at Wayne County for over 30 years, and you're telling me this is like the top two. This is bad.
Although, Craig, you mentioned to me before we started the program that this really is just the hens coming home to roost. It's not particularly surprising. This is where we are.
You're absolutely right. For 20 years, we've been warning that this was going to be the case, that the road funding was inadequate to meet the needs. We could chart the deterioration of the roads, project it coming for years, and this is exactly what we said would happen, unfortunately.
Well, let's start to rifle through the questions that I get continually through social media, emails, and I can't imagine I get more than you guys do. But first off, why don't our roads last longer? Where's the technology piece of this for creating roads that don't sort of spring potholes every year? Why can't we build a better road?
One of the things we've been looking at, and I feel, just to answer your question directly, because we really haven't had the funding to really do the reconstruction and fix the roads. It goes back to my earlier point. What we're doing is replacing Band-Aids. and we're putting layers over Band-Aids, or we're going down maybe an inch and not the complete surface. You need a total reconstruct of our roads. The infrastructure, you know, you look at some of the roads who's been here over 50, 60, 70, 100 years, and you need a reconstruction. You don't need a Band-Aid, and that's what you see the result now.
But are we still building roads the way that we have forever? I mean, is there anything new? I keep joking about can't we invent memory foam the way that we have for mattresses for roads, but isn't there something new out there?
There is, and the materials we use are changing constantly. We're part of both Wayne County and Oakland County, part of the national discussion to study new types of concrete, new mixes of asphalt. It's continually evolving. The challenge, of course, is to balance the funding we have with the need and the massive quantity of the need. So we've always got to keep in mind the cost effectiveness of the solutions. I mean, there are things where you could invest a huge amount of money and fix one road so it lasts forever, but all the other roads around it would crumble, and that's not an acceptable solution.
And new doesn't typically mean cheaper, does it?
Exactly.
The other question that we have, why can't we move to a toll road model? Because people drive through Ohio, and these roads are pretty darn good compared to ours. But this is, you hear this question all the time.
I hear it all the time. And another question I hear is like, why are our roads not like Ohio or other states that have the same kind of winter season we have? And they're correct. And you have money. It all goes back to the funding availability. One of the issues I'm glad that we have at Wayne County is a leader in Mr. Evans who really gets it. And to that question and researching all those answers of why not. Infrastructure is high on his priority list, so when I come to him and we dialogue and we have that discussion, we're trying to get more money. We're looking at everything on the table, such as toll. So researching all of that. So you're right, and we need to find that answer. And we don't necessarily need to do it just in Wayne County. We need to do it collaboratively throughout the state.
But you'd need legal help here because you can't retroactively make a toll road after it hasn't been, right?
Exactly.
And while the technology isn't evolving, currently, we're still in a state where you need a limited access road to charge a toll. You can't do that on a mile road or a primary road or a local road. You maybe can do it on a freeway, but there's political issues with that as well. But you can't do it on a local road.
Next question, Craig. When somebody does blow out a tire and bust up a rim or two, can they somehow find somebody to pay for that? They've been paying taxes on a road. Why should I have to pay this? Can't I sue for that or ask reimbursement from, say, the county?
Right. Well, they certainly can ask. The reality is we pay relatively few of them. And frankly, that's because the state law is written in such a way. It says that we only have liability if there was a pothole that was in place for 30 days, we knew about it for at least 30 days and did nothing about it. If there's a pothole that's big enough to cause damage and we know about it, we'll fix it on 24/7 on an emergency basis. We don't let those things sit long if we know about them. And if we fixed everybody's tire that blew, you know, we would be spending a whole lot of money on tires and not on roads. So we sympathize. I myself bought a new tire on Tuesday night, so I sympathize with that. I get the sentiment.
Which would suggest that the Road Commission doesn't have a hypersensitive map of where all of the worst damage is.
I was going to say that's the same process we follow at Wayne County, and I was going to say the second busiest person outside of our road crew is our risk manager. So all the calls that we are receiving.
But you would have to prove that that pothole had been there for 30 days.
And that we knew about it and did nothing about it.
And we try to get out there within 48 to 72 hours after notification.
That's a tough one. We saw this past week people going out on their own with shovels, gravel, and sand, and they were asked to stop doing that. Is there anything that somebody can do about a pothole in their neighborhood or on their commute that if they feel like the county or the state or whoever it is isn't being particularly responsive? Is there anything they can do to fix the problem that's right in front of perhaps their house?
Actually, what we've done at Wayne County the last couple of weeks, but we do it year round. We have a 1-888 road crew number we'd like you to call. We actually like you to even take a picture, send it over to us, and we'll get right over there. We do not encourage individuals to go out, because, of course, for safety liability, to go out and fill a pothole. Give us a call and call our road crew number or send it via email and notify us immediately.
Doesn't it? But aren't there way too many for you?
It's way too many.
You can't possibly be that
There are, but this is a safety issue.
It's a safety issue.
When you see our crews out there, there's a huge truck behind them and a huge truck in front of them, and cars are flying down the street. It's a dangerous job. We don't want anybody, you know, at risk being out in the road without those big trucks behind them and the security. It's
also trying to take sort of road construction technology into your own hands. You may not have the right answer.
Absolutely.
As you're fixing the pothole.
The best thing you can do, as Beverly said, is let us know where they are, and we'll get there as quickly.
Before I let both of you go then, before we get into the policy portion of this and how we get out of the fix, do you see any way that we can, in the short term, do anything other than have really dangerous roads right now?
Right. Well, in the short term for the potholes, what we're doing now is we're trying to, I have everybody available. Our crews have been at it more than 6-7 days a week addressing the potholes. I'm pulling all available resources within our department possess a CDL, commercial driver's license. Everyone is going to be all about potholes and possibly looking at ways to even get support help with the potholes until we get through this season. Additionally, with the additional money we have, but the long term of it, you're right, we need the funding.
Craig, you get the last word.
And we're putting every penny of the new money we're getting from the state road funding package into the road surfaces. So that's the real solution to the problem. And
that also speaks to a lot of frustration for area leaders because the money hasn't particularly gone where they thought it would, when it would, and we will continue that portion when we bring in another group to talk about where we go from here. How do we fix this mess? This is Flashpoint on Local 4. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Check it out. It's the grand.
We're on our awful roads today, so let's move now to policy and plans. How do we get ourselves out of this fix? Great group to talk about that. Lance Benanimi is here. He is the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. Mark Hackle is back with us on Flashpoint. He's, of course, the Macomb County Executive. Two legislators on this side of the table, Democratic State Representative Fred Durhal III of Detroit and Republican State Senator Phil Pavlov of St. Clair Township.
That's exactly right.
Thanks for coming, both of you, all of you. Mark, let me start with you because you kind of blew an emotional tire, I think, over these last couple of weeks as you've come to realize that what Macomb County needs is basically what has been allocated for the rest of the state altogether. Is that right?
No question about it. I mean, we've already done an allocation looking at the roads, and there's 780 miles of Macomb County roads right now that are in dire condition, or I guess, if you will, in need of complete repair and overhaul. Well, if you figure it out, about $1.5 million for road mile, it's $1.2 billion is what we need in Macomb County alone. So this thought that they already put out $1.2 billion statewide is not $1.2 billion statewide. That is absolutely not true, and I mean, I will debate that with anybody that wants to say it. It's about $200 million is what they actually came up with new money for roads, and it's not coming to the locals in Macomb County. I could use $1.2 billion today to fix our roads. Because
a lot of the new money that was allocated basically went to old debts and responsibilities.
That is correct. 400 million of it went to an old debt responsibility, and the other 600 million, by the way, was a promise of future legislature to fix this. So there is no new money that's coming our way to fix this, and there's no question about it. We're going to continue to talk about potholes. How do we fix potholes? How do we throw good money into these holes until somebody comes up with a legislative responsive decision or way of paying for these roads?
From a competitive standpoint, Senator Pavlov, we look around at our region. They all face the same weather because it's easy to compare our roads to, say, Arizona, and yes, theirs are in better shape. They don't deal with what we do weather-wise, but so does Indiana, so does Ontario, so does Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio. We are not anywhere close to being competitive, and this is not going to be fixed in a week.
Well, no, it won't, but the good news that I can report is that help is on the way. And while we don't have all of the money in our hands today to satisfy Macomb and Wayne County, help is on the way. And so last week
we moved. In what respect?
Well, $175 million worth of new money on top of, we'll take our state spending almost to $4.8 billion annually in roads and transportation assets. Is it enough? Probably not. Particularly right now when we're all driving the same roads and seeing the impact of it. So while we're on the beginning of the new revenue coming in on January 1st, we just implemented new fees for our registration. That's coming in. Gas taxes are starting to roll in. So we're at the beginning of it. Is it going to be enough immediately? No, it won't. But when we get past this leverage point right now where we are in the spring breakup, give road crews an opportunity to fix what's in place and rely on that new money coming in. And I think that it's not going to solve all the problems because we do have financial challenges. And by the way, we're we're taking a federal cut from Washington on our road funding too.
In fact, that we'll get into the infrastructure long-term dilemma with what we have learned from Washington coming up. But Representative Darrell, you sit in the same state capitol. Do you feel like help's on the way?
I feel like it'd be disingenuous to think that help is immediately on the way. You know, I think one of the points of contention is that we did pass a $175 million supplemental. However, this was a roads plan that was passed in 2015. At that time, my colleagues on our side, we knew it wasn't enough, and we said it wasn't going to be enough. And so I think to pass $175 million right now and saying that help is on the way is disingenuous. I put up an amendment in committee for an additional $75 million to be added so it can go to our local counties, so it can go to Macomb, so it can go to Wayne, to be able to start addressing these issues with our roads immediately, and that amendment was shot down. And so I think that for us to say that help is, you know, directly on the way to fill these potholes and relieve these problems that we have for folks immediately would be telling the citizens a bit of a untruth.
Devin, can I hit that real quick? When you talk about $175 million, let's get that in perspective. With Act 51, what $175 million means, about $108 million would actually go to locals, whether it's counties and or local cities or municipalities. Macomb County's share of that's coming back is $4.5 million. What does $4.5 million get Macomb?
What will that buy us?
It gets me 1.5 miles of a 2-lane road. That's what it'll get. I got 780 miles in Macomb County that need fixing. So 1.5 miles of roadway is what that actually fixed. You know where that money's going to go? I don't care if it's Wayne County, Oakland County, or Macomb County, City of Detroit. Where that money is going, hard-earned tax dollars, is going into a hole right now with cold patch. That's paying for cold patch to fix these holes. That can't be the answer moving forward. We're talking billions of dollars are needed to fix this problem.
Lance, to the question really that I put to my earlier group though, then why aren't the advances there? Why isn't the technology there to help us figure out a way for this money to go farther and our roads to last longer?
Certainly, you know, really, you need more money to build better roads. That's just a flat-out truth. We can build better roads in Michigan. We've tried different examples of building better roads, but unfortunately we don't have the resources to do that. And when you talk about new technologies, you talk about new innovations, the two previous speakers were absolutely right. There are constant looks at how we can improve our technology and how we can use better fixes, but they come at a cost. And we just don't have those resources.
Does Ohio have different kinds of roads than we do?
No, absolutely not. Ohio, for the last 15 to 20 years, has spent $1 billion more per year than Michigan has. And they have similar
including the tolls,
including their toll roads.
And that's been for about a decade, by the way.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
been for over a decade. So we're so far behind.
And Devin, if I may, you know, when we look at this plan for the roads in 2015, the governor had a commission that come back in 2016, and Executive, you know, Hackle is pretty much right. They said it was going to take about $4 billion to really just get us to where we need to be, because close to 40% of our roads are in the worst shape that they could possibly be in. And then they also estimated that it would take $2.2 billion per year just to get us to a 5 to 15% threshold, if you will, so our roads are manageable.
Senator, it would seem to be that the other three are a little dubious of the idea that we have committed enough money or resources to the problem.
It's an infinite problem. I mean, you could continue to spend money into the end of it. The question we have to do as policymakers is determine what the mix of that money is going to look like. I mean, do we want to dip into the school aid fund to do some of this? We're using general fund dollars.
New money.
New money.
Well, issue.
So here's what we can do for new money.
Does that mean new taxes?
You know, whatever it takes. That's the responsibility. You've got to own the responsibility.
Yeah,
again,
credit to the counties.
Credit to the governor. I remember being at his first State of the State address, and he brought this up, and exactly what you said is what he said. We got to fix this problem. And you know what? He owned that responsibility, but yet he didn't get the legislator on board to help with it, because he knows, the governor knows, that it's new money that's going to fix this, not this shuffle money around. $1.2 billion. What they did with that $1.2 billion,
well, when it comes to priorities,
was a replacement.
I mean, as a community leader, as a county leader, is the conversation going to move and pivot from mass transit to local county millages? In my district, 3 out of 4 of my counties have a road millage that is specifically dedicated. And you know what's interesting about that is that it passes with about 70 or 80% approval rating. Why is that? Because the locals can see, they have trust, they have a firm commitment from their local road agencies that work is going to get done, and they continue to improve it. Huron County is very different than Macomb County, I will give you that, but the same principles apply to them making additional investments in their roads.
But Macomb County residents are saying no different than Wayne County and Oakland County. They're saying, wait a minute, we pay enough in our taxes. Where's the money? How come it's not coming back? Act 51 has been a tremendous problem for us, but yet nobody seems to be able to. Act 51, meaning it was created in 1951.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
Over a half a decade
ago. And being the ranking Democrat on the Appropriations Committee, I'll tell you this. What my amendment was is to add the additional $75 million was taking it from the rainy day fund, which is close to $1 billion now. This is the budget. Snowy day funds nowadays. But you know, I think folks would admit that it's raining right now, that we need the roads. If you poll folks, our constituents that you poll, one of the top issues they say is our roads. And so why can't we use our budget stabilization fund? Why can't we use our quote unquote rainy day fund to fix one of the largest issues in the state that has no boundaries on county, demographics or whatnot? Everybody agrees the roads are horrible.
Well, yeah, and the appropriation of $175 million is literally going to be doled out to hundreds of road agencies. So do we have a governance issue? I mean, is that part of it? Is it getting eaten up in overhead? No, we've got to be able to make sure and prioritize that money goes to surface and upkeep of the roads that we have.
I think Mark Hackle would say we have a reality issue, though. If all he can fix is, what'd you say, a mile and a half of a two-lane road. Lance, I want to get, though, now to the broader picture. The infrastructure plan put forward by the president really puts the onus on the states are going to have to come up with the money, and I think this conversation would seem to suggest it ain't there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's a little disingenuous to say it's a $1.5 trillion plan. It's actually a $200 billion plan. Yeah. And so, you know, you look at it and you look at the states and the local units of government around Michigan, they would have already spent those resources if they could. It's not like they need the president or anyone else to tell them they need to fix their roads. They just don't have the money to do it. And so, you know, the president's plan, I think the fault of that is it just relies on local money, and we just don't have any.
Where's it come from?
Again, people believe they're already paying for it in their taxes. And I can't help but use the 175 as the example in this Act 51. Okay, the real need is down here in southeast Michigan. That's right. Not the northern part of the state. And so the question becomes, that distribution went all over the state, but a disproportionate amount of it went north. It didn't come here. The $175 million, we need that appropriation now just to deal with potholes. And I can't even believe we're talking about potholes.
We're talking about potholes.
This is unacceptable.
It's unreal to just drive down most of the major thoroughfares in our part of the state, but I think Senator Pavlov, you know a little bit about what he's talking about the fatigue and the rest of the state for always worrying about what's going on in Southeast
I don't think
Michigan.
it's accurate to say that they don't need road development in Marquette and Menominee, because they do. And the reason Public Act from 1951 is still here is because politically it's almost impossible to change the way that that money flows. It's been a part of every conversation that Lance has been involved with. And the flow of it is interesting because you take a county like Lake County in northwest Michigan, they have one stoplight there. You know, so all of this is metered out through additional road agencies, and it's shared in a statewide gas tax. I mean, if you want to move the conversation, you know, we've tried to get past the restraints and the restrictions of Public Act 151, but another component that the president is talking about is leveraging private dollars and private investment into the system. That's going to be met with a lot of resistance, but when you square that against a $20 trillion federal debt and the fact that everybody believes they're tapped out, and to Lance's point, if the money was there, we'd already gone and gotten it.
Last word's yours.
But I hate to say, you know, and one thing I think is disingenuous, and this is my friend, but I'll say this. To say that it's politically risky, we have a Republican Senate. We have a Republican House. They control the House and the Senate. What's politically risky about putting forth legislation to change the formula? What's politically risky about ensuring that when that 2015 roads tax plan passed, we told folks we're going to tax you on your birthdays at the Secretary of State, and they're paying for it already.
I got to get to a break. Got to leave it there. Great conversation. Thank you, gang. Where do we go? This is Flashpoint on Local 4. Wrapping up right for this. I can't get him to leave. We're going to stick around, stay on this. Closing ceremonies for Pyeongchang tonight here on Local 4 at 8 p.m. Meet the Press is next. Have a great week. See you next time on Flashpoint.